Symphony orchestras across the country are downsizing because of dwindling attendance. But in an unusual twist, certain shows are delighting a new generation of fans and helping concert halls sell more tickets. Here's Omar Villafranca.
At the music hall at Fair Park in Dallas, a recent symphony orchestra saw a dressed-up crowd with some dressed in costume. Fans were there to experience music from their favorite video game, The Legend of Zelda, organized in a 4-movement symphony.
Zelda is a game that, to me, is probably the most important contribution to video game history.
Jason Paul is the show's producer. While working with opera star Luciano Pavarotti, he came up with the idea of fusing live classical music and video game visuals.
When did you know, okay, this is gonna click?
I kind of knew it after the first time I did it in 2004. It was an instant success. It was a virtual riot at the box office. Now we're really at an all-time high.
Paul says most of his shows on this international tour have been sold out, including this one. Fans bought 3,000 tickets, and each concert goer spent at least $10 on souvenirs. That's a promising note. While there has been a small increase in ticket sales over the past 5 years, it's not enough to stem the 29% dip in classical music participation from 1991 to 2011, reported by the League of American Orchestras. Since 2010, orchestras in Philadelphia, Louisville, Honolulu, New Mexico, and Syracuse have filed for bankruptcy, and many others have had to downsize.
And symphony orchestras have to take a look at what are the audience demands, because if they're not serving their audiences and their community, then frankly they're not relevant.
Catherine Cahill is the CEO of the Mann Center in Philadelphia. She says Zelda and Pokemon concerts have brought in crowds and cash. Up to 6,000 fans have flocked to the pop culture offerings, double that of the average classical performance.
If you really want to hear great symphony orchestras, your interest may not be Bach, Beethoven, and Brahms. It may be video games.
It's actually very deep and very complex, colorful, very rich.
The musicians performing at these shows are classically trained, including music director and conductor Amy Anderson. She says video game soundtracks may not be traditional classical music, but deserve respect.
It's storytelling through the music. How is that different from Mahler's Second Symphony? Stylistically, it's different, but humanly, it's the same thing. We're telling stories. We're touching hearts.
And opening up the symphony orchestra to a new generation of fans, like Caleb Pryor. The 19-year-old said he'd never been to a classical music performance, but owns over 400 songs from the Zelda games.
Did you ever think that you would be at a symphony to hear video game music?
No, I didn't. And whenever I got the opportunity to do this, I was super excited. And I'm absolutely loving the fact that I'm here right now.
It's that enthusiasm from the non-traditional crowd that strikes a chord with the musicians on stage.
They clap and they cheer and they get on their feet. And I think the orchestras, for the most part, are stunned. It's a thrill to see the musicians, I think, get the recognition that they have always gotten, but in a different way, in a very spontaneous, free way.
Is this the new trend, or is this just a fad?
No, it is not a fad. Gaming's here to stay. It's not going away. And as long as there's gaming, there are fans who love the music, and that means there are fans who will come to these concerts.
New fans to fill the seats and turn up the excitement at traditional concert halls all around the country. For CBS This Morning Saturday, Omar Villafranca, Dallas.
What a great idea. I think it's the one thing that could get my 15-year-old son to go to a symphony.